Can't you see? Everyone! They're here already! You're next!
Let's go!
Welcome to the future, where the glass is half full and you'll need new glasses, where you'll be jumping from conclusions.
The past is annulled, and a new future is born!
Never before in history has so much meant so little to so many. AD on the radio.
You know, I read this story in the Knoxville News Sentinel. I'm going to caution you that the next couple of minutes might be a little tough to take, but it's important. It's important that you hear things like this and you feel the feelings. And you are reminded of the greatness that lies within each and every one of us. That you hear a story like this that lets you know that all of us, every single last one of us, have something massive to give. Like I said, this is from the Knoxville News Sentinel. It's a guy called Eric Schmidt-Motson. And this guy looks every bit the part of Santa Claus. He's 6 feet tall, 310 pounds. And he's got a full beard. And he bleaches his beard to keep it fully white. Now, this guy, Schmidt-Motson, he's a mechanical engineer and president of Packing Seals and Engineering. And throughout the community, he also plays Santa. He looks the part. And apparently, during all of the year, even when it's not the season, his civilian attire always includes Santa-esque suspenders. He says a couple weeks ago, he had just gotten home from work when he got a call from the Children's Hospital telling them they needed him there quickly to see a dying 5-year-old boy who wanted to see Santa. The nurse told him there was no time for him to change into the Santa outfit. He said when he got to the hospital, he met with the family. The mother gave him a toy from Paw Control to give him. And he said he told the family, if you think you're going to lose it, please leave the room. If I see you crying, I'll break down and I can't do my job. Nobody went in with him. They watched, sobbing from a hallway window in the intensive care unit. He says that when he walked in as Santa, he saw the boy so weak. He says he told him, say, what's this I hear about you're going to miss Christmas? There's no way you can miss Christmas. Why, you're my number one elf. He said the boy looked up and said, I am? He gave him the present. He was so weak he could barely open the wrapping paper. When he saw what was inside, he flashed a big smile and laid his head back down. The boy told him, they say I'm going to die. How can I tell when I get to where I'm going? Schmidt-Motson told him, can you do me a big favor when you get there? You tell him you're Santa's number one elf. And I know they'll let you in. The boy sat up and gave me a big hug, he said, and asked one more question. Santa, can you help me? I wrapped my arms around him. Before I could say anything, he died right there. I let him stay. Just kept hugging and holding on to him. He said that his family realized what had happened and ran into the room. The mother screaming, no, not yet. Motson said, I spent 4 years in the Army with the 75th Rangers. And I've seen my share of stuff. But I ran by the nurse's station bawling my head off. I know nurses and doctors see things like that every day. But I don't know how they can take it. He said that he cried all the way home. He said, I was crying so hard, I had a tough time seeing well enough to drive. He said he even wanted to hang up his red suit. But he promised a hospital to make another appearance the next day. However, the next day, he said, when I saw all of those children laughing, it brought me back into the fold. It made me realize the role I have to play for them and for me. Never forget, we all have a role to play.
You're longing for that shining sun. You walk these streets most every day.
Real radio. 104.1.
Where the left and right come together for fundamental truths. AD on the radio, on Twitter at ADSXE.
Do what I want, when I want, how I want. Every day you're going and working, running that rat race at that pace in that place will leave a bad taste for anyone, everyone working day after day. So buddy, I gotta say, for you, there's gotta be a better way. Yeah.
Krauthammer. You know, Charles Krauthammer, is that his name? Charles Krauthammer? I just know him as Krauthammer because what an incredible name that is. He's sort of like the right-wing pundit dude. But Funkhouser, if you know what Krauthammer looks like?
No, Sounds like a law firm of Funkhouser and Clawhammer.
It does. It's not. Clawhammer. I think there was a metal band back in the day called Clawhammer. No, Krauthammer. Google a picture of Krauthammer. Smiling.
Okay. To Google. Oh, gosh. He does not have a good smile.
All right, tell me if I'm wrong. He looks like the Grinch, right? Like
yeah. Somebody put a green filter on that guy, and he's totally the Grinch.
Yeah. No, he is absolutely the Grinch, and he's an intelligent and brilliant man. I think he's one of those guys that I don't agree with, but I go, wow, super smart. That like he kind of like he never comes to the table without I've never seen somebody put one over on Krauthammer. You know what I mean? Like he always maintains his cool. And he always has a counterpoint to your point. And like I said, don't agree with everything that he says, but I certainly respect his ability to go in there knowing what's what. And he said something really, really interesting. He described Democrats as indulging in what he called a delightful festival of hypocrisy. What is this delightful festival of hypocrisy he's talking about? It has to do with Russians, and we'll get into it a little later on in the show. Right now, though, Funkhouser, what is going on in the news?
The news? You mean I have to read the news again? Bleh. All right.
Oh, wait a second. Hold on. Before we get into the news, you might have noticed that we weren't on yesterday. I got a couple of concerned emails being like, "Hey, they're replaying one of your old shows. Everything okay? Everything all right?" And which was really touching. That was really nice. Thank you very much. Appreciate all of those. But there was a reason why we were out yesterday. What was it, Funkhouser?
I had jury duty. Dun dun dun.
So how much of it can you talk about? I've never had jury duty yet.
There was no gag order. I think I could talk about most of it.
Huh.
I didn't go into any courtrooms. I didn't hear any cases. I didn't see any lawyers. So, I'll tell you about the process.
What jury were you sitting on? What was somebody charged with? How'd that go?
I didn't. I just sat in a room waiting to be picked, and I never got picked.
Oh, they didn't pick you?
No. It's one and done here in California. So usually I'm in Ventura County Courthouse, but this time I'm in downtown L.A. at all the historical parts and stuff, and thinking, ooh, maybe I can get on a real criminal case.
That would be exciting. Inconvenient for us, but exciting nevertheless. So, all right, I was, who'd you run into?
Okay, so at the end, they're calling out names. If I call your name, you are released. And then I'm hearing all these names, and I hear, Lance Ito. I go, wow, that guy has a famous name. Couldn't be the real Lance Ito. He's a judge. And he's probably, quite old at this point. And lo and behold, as we were leaving, there he is in his little cane. Judge Lance Ito from the O.J. Simpson trials doing jury duty.
Who was it that had the bit? The dancing Itos? Was that Jay Leno?
Probably.
Like, there's all these bits of pop culture ephemera that were inspired by the O.J. Simpson trial, and I think, yeah, it was the Tonight Show. They got big ratings back in the day with their dancing Itos. And I guess you didn't get a chance to talk to him. No?
No, I did not. No, I just overheard him talking to other people. I wish I would have known earlier, though. I would have sat there and talked to him all day. I just charged my mobile devices all day.
Well, there you go.
So
that was your experience with jury duty. That was fun.
Same time next year, we'll do it again.
You had a brush with 90s pop culture celebrity Judge Lance Ito, who is still judging up a storm by the looks of things. Good for you.
Yes.
That's awesome. What else?
The Golden Globe nominations were announced yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Or as the Kardashian sisters call it, Monday. I think Russia meddled with the process. Every nominee is Donald Trump. Go on.
Nick Nolte got a Golden Globe nomination for Best Actor in a TV Comedy.
To which Gary Busey replied, "So thankful to be nominated." Go on. Well, am I the only person that gets those two confused?
Yeah. A gossip website claims that Kim Kardashian is having an affair with Oakland Raiders punter Marquette King.
Well, I mean, do we notice as he goes up to punt, is he frantically itching his nether regions? Because if so, that would be a telltale sign. No herpes, no Kardashian. Go on.
Feeling the burn again. Courtney Love performed an Amy Winehouse song at a Miami club.
Not often that you see an Amy Winehouse song done by someone higher than Amy Winehouse.
Can we trade? I'll give you a Courtney Love for an Amy Winehouse. Come on.
What else?
So Taylor Swift turns 27 today.
Oh.
I thought she was older.
Coincidentally enough, 27 is also the number of relationships she's begun and ended since I started this sentence. Really? 27? I thought she was younger. Like, I have this
older
vision in my mind of her as a perpetual child.
She just released a song for 50 Shades Darker, and she's trying to be all scandalous.
Oh,
more
really?
Sexy, more adult.
Because, like, yeah, but it was time. It was time for her to, she, for the longest time, she was like, I'm just that normal girl that's not pretty sitting on the bleachers while the high school jock that I have a crush on goes off with a cheerleader. Oh, woe is me. And it's like, you live in Amagansett and bang Kennedys. Enough with this already. Let's evolve. So I'm glad she did.
It's okay to disagree. It's not okay to be understimulated.
Well, I was just thinking that...
This is KPRC 950.
Don't get the blues, get all the news. We mean all of you guys out there in Radioland. All aboard!
He's back. AD on the radio.
Give it up, yeah. Give it up, yeah. Bring this on, come on, come on.
So I'm lying in bed last night because I had, like, the workload is just freaking insane at the moment. Like, the amount that you got to do to take a day off before the holidays, and I think this is true in radio, and I think it's true in lots of other things, is just, it's borderline criminally insane. But because I had coffee too late, because I was working at like 2 a.m. yesterday, and I was running out of steam, I was like, I got to do more. I'm lying in bed. I'm like, what do I do? What do I do to kill the time? But what I decided to do to kill the time was put up like 8 different polls on Twitter. So go take the various polls, Funkhouser and anybody else that wants to. For example, which is the best holiday, Funkhouser? Christmas / Hanukkah, Halloween, Easter, or New Year? That's the kind of highbrow stuff I was doing in bed late last night.
Oh, man, those are my only choices? Can I pick
They only give you 4 on
Leap year
Twitter.
is my favorite.
Well, I guess if you pick other, well, there's not another to pick, but if you want to, you can specify another. All right, Funkhouser, which is the best? Waffles, pancakes, French toast, or other? I couldn't think of another
French toast
breakfast that was like pancakes. You know what? French toast is ahead with 34% of the votes, and we're getting some we're getting lots of votes on these, like over 100 on each of them. Which form of social media is your favorite? Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or Snapchat?
Twitter.
Yeah, far and away, it's Twitter. If you want to communicate with the show, please do it over Twitter. I know that some people are sort of like
I'm a tweetist.
resistant to Twitter. Well, I mean, Twitter, just like, I understand if you're not used to it, it looks like a different language when you first look at it. However, the limiting of characters makes it super easy for me to respond to everyone. If you send me an email and it's like super long, I do wind up responding to them, but it takes time. But if it's quick, I don't feel the crushing guilt of not having returned someone's email that I get quite often, which is, so yeah. If you want to do something nice for me, tweet me at ADSXE or at FunkFM is where you can reach super producer to the stars, Barry Funkhouser. Funkhouser, which expression do you believe more? Look before you leap, or he who hesitates is lost?
Look before you leap.
Yeah, that's the overwhelming majority. And I've always been a look before you leap type of person, but I feel like I've missed out on some real opportunities by looking around too much before I leap. Like, what's the other one? The other old expression, paralysis through analysis. I feel like there's so many times in life where I should have just gone with a gusto. But it looks like I'm not alone in that 76% of voters like to look before they leap. And he who hesitates is lost. That devil-may-care attitude doesn't seem to play well in our society, at least according to my super scientific Twitter poll. And finally, how do you fall asleep, Funkhouser? Do you read, watch TV, just lie there, or other?
Other.
Other? What's the other?
None of your
Please
business.
specify. Most people just lie there. Can you just lie there?
Sometimes, but no.
Oh man, if I just lie there, I'm alone with my thoughts, and that just becomes a whole big mess. Like, just lying there is terrible. I need something to occupy. I guess, like, that's the whole point of transcendental meditation or any kind of meditation. You're trying to quiet your mind and empty it out and all this sort of stuff. And I guess you have something else that you focus on, which is very simple, and that brings your mind away from the sort of like monkey brain stuff that a lot of us go through. And that's the whole point of transcendental meditation. But reading, I suppose, is probably what focuses me away from the torture of my thoughts, he said in a considerably overly dramatic way. But those people, and like it was most people, just lie there. Those people that just lie there, if I'm like really tired, really, really, really tired, then maybe. There's times where I get home and I'm so tired I don't remember going upstairs. Like, I remember getting home, I remember eating something, but that point, like I actually, some people get blackout drunk. I get blackout overworked. I'm like, I remember coming home last night, but that portion between eating a sleeve of Oreos in the kitchen and falling asleep, I don't remember getting to bed. Like, I'm pretty confident that Milhouse comes downstairs and gets me, and he's like, "Come on, Dad, let's go." Like, I'm greeted at the door by Milhouse. We go to the kitchen. He anxiously awaits for me to drop crumbs, and then I'm pretty sure he goes upstairs and I follow him. I think, in a weird twist of fate, I think my dog puts me to bed every single night. Anywho,
Yes. Hey,
those people who
there's
can just lie there and fall asleep, I am impressed.
What do you do when the fire alarm goes off? You supposed
Mine?
to leave?
I curse the fact that the battery needs changing, because
Well, what
invariably
if it's in a
that's
big
been it.
high-rise building?
The only time I've ever had the fire alarm go off, my fire alarm go off, has been when I cook something and smoke comes up. Like, if it's something smoky, like bacon, or if I did. There was one time at
As you're talking,
iHeartRadio.
my fire alarm is going off. So I'm.
Oh, is it really?
I'm listening to you vamp about it.
You want to roll the dice on this one, or do you need
No, man,
to go?
I'm going down with the ship. I was just wondering what you would do there.
That's exactly what happened. Like, in radio, it's this weird thing where you can't leave. Like, what will happen to the
Somebody in a
airwaves? And
vest
it's like,
better come and get me.
I remember that one time the entirety of the building, iHeartMedia, cleared out because there was like smoke in the hallways and burning, and all the fire alarms were going off. And like, I stuck my head out the studio and I saw a cloud of smoke. I was like, well, that seems real. Let's go downstairs. And we all did, and we were waiting, and it turned out to be the traffic guy's popcorn that he like meant to put in there for 10 minutes but put in there for an hour or something like that. Like, just press the 0 button one too many times, and that was it. There was one time where I was on the air with my boss, and we were doing that crossover break when I was doing nights, and I was getting there at like 7 o'clock to go on the air, and he He was like, fire alarm's going off. I was like, do you think we need to go? And he was like, nah, this is nothing. And then like the fire truck showed up outside. He's like, yeah, maybe we should leave. Yeah, pre-record the next 25 minutes and let's see how this plays out. So
this could be our last show.
Well, I mean, how's it going? Like,
I don't know,
go look at. I mean, hey, this is real-time drama. Just I'll wait. We'll kill some time. I'll twiddle some thumbs.
Look,
go stick your head. No, seriously, Funkhouser, stick your head out the door. By the way, for those that don't know, we're in different studios, connected by the magic of ISDN. I don't want you dying. I enjoy this show. I don't want you to die just because you're attempting to be loyal to our broadcasting. Stick your head out the studio door. See if other people are leaving. And all right. And to those listening at home, I would like you to realize, recognize, and understand how much I care about the life and well-being of my employees. Oh, he's not coming back. Is he coming back? What now?
No flames.
No flames.
No flames,
any smoke?
No people. But there wasn't people to start with. It's holidays, so everybody's gone anyway.
So the building's going to burn down and you'll be alone during the holidays. That's
remember me.
If things change, if you feel like you need to leave, no explanation
Maybe
necessary.
They'll name the building after me.
No, I don't think they will. Go on. What else?
NBC is doing a special to find America's next top puppeteer.
Oh, like Jim Henson and Kermit, or Russia and Donald Trump. For the record, I don't think that's true. But I truly think it was funny. Go on.
Joe Piscopo says he's considering a run for New Jersey governor.
He wants to make America 1985 again. Good for him. Go on.
Major League pitcher Anthony Varvaro is quitting baseball to fight crime.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Johnny Manziel is considering quitting crime to play football. Go on.
The L.A. Rams fired their coach, Jeff Fisher, after winning just 4 games this season.
Mm-hmm. To which the Cleveland Browns replied, "What's a win?" And the Cleveland Brown fans went, 4 wins? Can we sign him? Let's see if we can get that guy. Go on.
The Midwest got hit with heavy snow and cold temperatures.
Not a problem for residents. Meth labs generate a lot of heat. Darn. This cold weather is going to make me miss my workout at the gym, said not one person in the Midwest. Please continue. It's interesting when I talk to my friends from the Midwest, it's like the temperatures I love people in the Midwest. I find them to be like your average New Yorker goes to Chicago and says, hey, this is just like New York City. There's big, tall buildings. It's a big, thriving city. And you look at it and you go, this is like New York, except everybody's friendly. And there is a certain Midwestern friendliness. There is a certain Midwestern spirit of community that you really feel. Like the moment, like if you ever wind up in the Midwest, the moment you get off of the tarmac at the airport, you feel it. It's a little different. People treat you differently. I find people in the Midwest to be. Look, if I'm in New York or if I'm in Texas or if I'm in California and there's rain coming down, people don't care. Well, I mean, people in California don't know how to drive in any kind of precipitation whatsoever, so let's exclude them from the conversation. But say I'm in Texas, where people are really, really nice, and it's raining, people are still doing 70 down the freeway, scaring the living bejesus out of you because you don't know what's going to happen. It's nuts. But you see a single flake of snow in the Midwest, and as you're driving, it feels like everybody slows down. It feels like everybody's going slow and looking out for each other. And there's a certain sense of Midwestern community, meth jokes aside. There's a certain sense of Midwestern community that I think you get solely because of the freezing cold temperatures. Like, there's, I guess, probably about 12 to 13 weeks out of the year where Mother Nature actively tries to end your life in the Midwest. Like, so you do things like you check on your older neighbors. Hey, hope their pipes didn't freeze and they're dead. There's all these stories of people that get drunk in the Midwest, go home, pass out in a snowbank and die. And people are always on the lookout for that sort of thing. You know, the elements are actively trying to kill us all. We got to stick together. And there's a certain sense of community that I've noticed in places like Chicago and Minneapolis and places places like that where it gets really, really unbelievably cold, places where you can, during the wintertime, throw a bowl of water up in the air and it'll come down as snow. There's a certain sense of community and looking out for one another in these places that I think is unique to spots where you may die because Mother Nature is having a lousy one. It's an interesting phenomenon and one that I like. Go on.
The San Francisco Airport, SFO, added a therapy pig for passengers, and she's so sweet.
A therapy pig. That's cute. I think the Detroit Airport also offers something to relax passengers. Flights away from Detroit. Go on.
An 1,100-pound woman left her home for the first time in 25 years.
Well, McRib is back.
Oh, I want a McRib so bad, but I don't want 1,100 pounds.
Well, you can just eat one McRib,
No,
and you should
can't
be okay.
do that. It's impossible.
I don't get the fuss over the McRib. I remember my first and last McRib when, I'm going through the drive-thru at McDonald's, and the McRib is back. And I asked the woman, I was just like, is there, the McRib, is it really all? And she's like, it's okay, I suppose. I was like, I'll take one. I just want to see what all the fuss is about. And I was like, what makes it good? She's like, well, it's all right. There's this sauce on it that sort of voluptuates the flavor. And I was like, what did you just say? She's like, there's a sauce that voluptuates the flavor. And the McRib was just okay. But in purchasing the McRib and asking her what she thought of it, I learned the expression voluptuates the flavor, which is possibly one of my favorite phrases for all of time. So at least I got that out of my McRib experience. Voluptuates the flavor. That's what the sauce does, Funkhouser.
Mm-hmm.
Are you
I'm
a
an
McRib
Arby's
fan
myself,
and
I shouldn't
do you get
say
happy
that,
when the McRib comes back?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I like hype, and I like anything
You
that'll
like
bring
hype?
a group in.
We've talked about this before, but all right, what do you like at Arby's? What's the big deal there for you?
Oh, man, the 2 regulars, man. Or the 5 for $5 deal. Woo! It's hard to find an Arby's here in SoCal, though.
What about the what is your favorite fast food novelty item? Something like the McRib that comes and goes.
Loaded potato bites at Arby's. They come and go.
I like curly fries. They've got good curly fries at. Are they curly at Arby's or are they just seasoned? They're curly, right?
Yeah,
they're curly at Arby's. They've got curly fries, really good curly fries at Jack in the Box. And
the SFO pig is here.
But all those things, all those novelty items, all of those, why they do that, Funkhouser? We've talked about this in the past. Can you remember? Pop quiz.
It has to do with the availability of the meat, isn't it?
No.
Man.
All the novelty items, all of them. All right, look at the McDouble. Even if you're going to question the way McDonald's gets their beef, even if you're going to question the quality of it, the McDouble is not something that they can possibly make money on at 99 cents. Yet there's a reason why they sell it. What is it? I'll tell you when we get back. That's a radio tease.
And now we're all hungry.
Well, you should talk a bunch, but then I've got a hunch that if I step to you, you back right down. Can't see it through your bitch and you're like Kool-Aid. You're just
Real Radio. Real Radio. 104.1.
Now, more AD on the radio.
The grocery store the other day? At the grocery store the other day, I did something that I haven't done in a very, very long time.
Oh?
And it had to do with the fact that I was making mashed potatoes for when my sister and her husband came over for Thanksgiving, and I bought butter. Now, this might sound like a boring or benign thing that doesn't require that much thought, but the buying of the butter, I hadn't bought butter in years. Do you buy butter on a regular basis,
I
Funkhouser?
used to buy vegan butter a lot. I haven't bought butter in years also, but there's a whole kiosk of different butters now.
Yeah, it's confusing. I didn't. like, I didn't know, like, do you get salted? Do you get sweet cream? Like, what kind of butter do you get? Like, it was genuinely confusing for me, and it made me consult my mashed potato recipe, and that wasn't that much help because it just said stick butter. I was just like, I don't have a toaster. I should really get a toaster. But, you know, without toast, why does anybody need butter? Answer, you don't. And, like, if I ever have to cook something in a frying pan or on a skillet, like, I don't use butter. I use, like, some kind of oil, like olive oil or something.
Do you buy
that.
fruit?
Yeah, but that doesn't require butter.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah.
Clean up on aisle 7.
Yeah, I don't think you need to butter your fruit. That sounds dirty. It's not, but it sounds dirty, and we like that. Anyways, Dennis Regan said something I could relate to on trying to buy butter.
I was home for Thanksgiving. My mom sent me to the store to get butter, right? Just to buy butter. I figured that was something I was capable of doing. I find the dairy section in the aisle where they have all the margarine. Then they have all this other stuff. It's not even margarine anymore. I don't know what the hell it is. I see a touch of butter. Move over butter. Sort of smells like butter. I can't find butter. I see this stuff called I can't believe it's not butter. I'm having no trouble believing it's not butter. Nothing here is butter. They got a product there called Promise. I don't care if they name it I swear to God. I'm not buying it. I bought this stuff called Country Crock. I figured at least these people were being honest with me.
The purchasing of butter caused a near cerebral meltdown for me when I went in to do it. As it worked out, I just bought, I believe, Land O'Lakes is what I went with, and it all worked out just fine.
Ooh, you know,
but,
that girl
like,
has cleavage.
Yeah, I think that's why that's the butter. That's the... Can we quote weird science on the air? I was just like, I'd like to butter her muffins. I'll be purchasing those. The Land O'Lakes chick is hot. So that's why I bought the butter. Go ahead, judge me. I can tell you're already doing it. More news, Funkhouser. Oh wait, hold.
Yeah, you were going to
the
tell us
freaking
something.
phone. Yes, like all the things that you like at fast food places. Like I said, the double-double, or not the double-double, the McDouble. Look, that's 2 patties of beef, and that's 99 cents. And, like, if you buy beef at the store, it's not 99 cents worth. It's like and look, obviously, McDonald's have different types of access to beef and buy in larger quantities than you or I ever will, but it still is one of those things where I think on a lot of that stuff, on things like the McRib, on things like the McDouble, on things like what's that deal that you like at Arby's, Funkhouser?
Oh, the 5 for $5?
5 for $5, yeah. You can't get 5 things for $5. It doesn't matter what they are. That makes no fiscal sense. How do they stay in business? Well, the markup on all that food is not that great. Like I said, sometimes they're breaking even, sometimes they're doing just a little bit better than breaking even. But you know what has the very best markup of anything in a McDonald's or any fast food restaurant, Funkhouser? What do you suppose that is?
I know. Tell the people.
It's soda pop. You know, like you get a large soda. What's that cost you? $1 something? Something like that?
Yeah.
And you're going to want that soda pop after eating whatever sort of like salty curly fries. You need something to wash that down with. So you get yourself a soda pop, probably a large one. And at that price, like a thing of soda is water and syrup. And I think it costs like around a penny or 2 pennies to make a large soda. So there's like 100 to 200% markup on that. All the stuff that they're selling you at all these fast food restaurants is really just to try and get you in the door. So in addition to that, you will buy a soda pop because that's where all the money is in fast food. Yep, that's what I've semi-reliably been informed by people in the culinary community. Go on, what else?
Donald Trump dismissed CIA findings that he benefited from a Russian intervention in the election.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's
We
an
did not
idea
vote.
almost as that's an idea almost as ridiculous as climate change, said the Donald. Here's the thing, though. Like, Obama even spoke out about this. He was like, everybody just needs to settle down. Like, do Russians try and influence, like, American elections and other parts of American life? Yeah, they've been doing this since back in the day when it was the Soviet Union. And it's one of those things where information is being shared more freely. Like, there's no getting around any of this. Like, all this stuff that's happening now, We are just burdened by the weight of the knowledge. We are no longer blissfully unaware of things. And I'm not passing a sweeping judgment on the lack of Russian intervention in our election, or perhaps there having been some Russian intervention in our election. I obviously am not armed with all the facts. And you know what? To be perfectly honest, I don't know that anyone is. But even Obama was like, people need to settle the hell down. Like, this guy's going to be your president. It's FYI. and like, these are things that you might not have known about or have been aware of, but like, countries try and F with other countries all the time. Like, it goes way back to the Cold War. You think, look, it kind of looks like we're entering into another Cold War and things are getting a little dicey. And I think one of the upsides of Donald Trump's presidency, and look, I know people are going to jump all over me for saying this. And look, when I was looking at these two presidential candidates, Hillary or Donald, I was like, well, if Hillary becomes president, we're going to war with Russia. If Donald becomes president, we're going to war in the Middle East. That was my private bet with myself. I'm not saying that's the case, but that was my gut. That was my instinct. And I don't approve of people cozying up with folks that have despicable human rights records, but it seems as though when it comes to a sense of diplomacy with the Russians, one of the upsides of Putin and Trump being suspiciously buddy-buddy is, well, maybe, just maybe, less of a chance of nuking ourselves. That's an upside, right? See? Glass half full!
I do what I want, when I want, how I want, yeah. I do what I want, when I want, how I want. This is my United States of whatever. Picture me giving a damn, I said never, yeah. I do what I want, when I want, how I want.
Real radio. 104.1.
There's something happening here, and you should know what it is. The dumbing up of America. Now, more AD on the radio.
You know, how much time do we have left, Funkhouser? Because we were talking about, like, Donald Trump's relationship with Vladimir Putin. Or, hold on, say Donald Trump's relationship with Vladimir Putin.
Hey, Donald Trump's relationship with Vladimir Putin. See, I don't hang out with Russians anymore, so I'm losing it.
When were you hanging out with Russians?
I had a Russian girlfriend for a while. She went nutso.
Oh.
That's how I do it all the time, but it's been so long, like, I'm losing it. I have to hang out with Vlad some more.
Vlad? You have a friend called Vlad?
Vlad and Igor.
What, you have
Oscar.
You have friends called Vlad, Igor, Oscar?
My friend, how have you been? Come say hello. Spend some time. Yes.
Oh, interesting. Very, very interesting. Well, you know, we were talking about Krauthammer, who, if you just Google Krauthammer now, Google Krauthammer smile, and you'll see that if they ever recast the role of the Grinch, that guy is a freaking shoo-in. But he had something very, very interesting to point out about about what he's calling a delight. He has a turn of phrase. He's one of those guys that, like, look, I don't agree with him, but I'm entertained by him. He has wonderful. He really commands the English language in a fairly wonderful way. He's called what's going on right now a delightful festival of hypocrisy. And don't you just love that word? You know who else I really, and people can't believe it when I tell them this. Like, people just cannot believe it when I tell them this. You know who else I like? Don't agree with 9 times out of 10, but who I really like and have enjoyed in the world of talk radio over the years? Like, Funkhouser? Any guesses?
I probably know.
I haven't, like, and before we started doing this, I didn't listen to a ton of talk radio. It really wasn't my thing. I just got into it for a number of different reasons, and well, here we are. But the one guy that I did like is, and you want to see if you get it right, Funkhouser? How well do we know each other? Let's play the Newly Show game. The one talk radio personality that AD used to enjoy listening to before starting to do talk radio himself was
Alex Jones.
No. No. You know what? I found out Alex Jones is like our age. Like,
really?
That guy.
Aww.
I think so. Like, look up how old Alex Jones is.
Yeah, but if I Google Alex Jones, they're going to come and get me.
Well, just do it. Look up the InfoWars host. How old is that guy?
He's 42.
So, like, how long has he been doing it?
Yeah,
like
I
10
thought he was
years?
younger. Or, older.
Yeah, older, right. He has the distinct talk radio advantage of having looked like he was 50 when he was 30, and that's not like a slight on him. He's just a very mature-looking individual, I suppose, where we have the distinct disadvantage of looking like we're 12 when we're in our mid-30s, so, like, people don't take us seriously. They're like, yeah, go back to skateboarding outside of 7-Elevens. Look at you. You can't be a talk radio host. And where Alex Jones got way further up in the game, I'm convinced, because people thought, he's a 50-year-old. I can listen to him. He probably knows some stuff, and really, he was just like this 30-year-old punk ass when he started InfoWars. So good for him. Good for him. I'm not saying that's the only reason he's up in the game, but I think that, like, having met with a certain amount of prejudice based on the way I look and the fact that everybody thinks I'm still in my 20s because I'm cursed by my baby face, I gotta say, I feel like old Al has a distinct advantage in that department. But no, it wasn't Alex Jones. Who is it? I like the drum roll. Do the drum roll.
Okay.
The one talk radio host that AD used to listen to before he got into talk radio was... No more guesses?
This can go on all day.
Michael Savage. That guy's like... To me, and hear me on this one. Don't agree with many of the things that Michael Savage has said in the past. And I don't even really remember what he was saying at the time. I was like, look, I was one of those kids who was just like, I don't care about politics. I'm going to bring this world to my knees solely with the force of my awesome. I don't need an elected official to help me determine what's going on in the world. I don't care. I'm writing my own story. I'm leading my own life. And, that's an attitude that I try and return to as much as possible. So I didn't really pay attention to any of Michael Savage's politics, but I just love the fact that he was like the Kanye West of talk radio. He's like, you know who's brilliant? Me. You know how brilliant I was back 6 years ago? Let's listen to this old tape of me being brilliant. And he would play back old tapes of himself. And then he would be like, I don't know if you caught how brilliant I was. Let's listen to that again. Am I alone on this one? Michael Savage, Kanye West of talk radio? No? Yeah?
I don't know.
How much time do we have left?
Let's see, carry the two. About 6-7 minutes.
6-7 minutes. Let's do a couple more pieces of news, and then we'll talk about the delightful festival of hypocrisy.
Real classy. Why don't we just go to the story?
Well, this is National Influenza Week.
Oh, yeah. National Influenza Vaccination Week. Do you get a flu shot, Funkhouser?
No. Do you?
Well, there's many reasons. There's many reasons that a person wouldn't get a flu shot. You might not get a flu shot because the people who say you should get one are the same people who predicted Hillary would win in a landslide. You might not get a flu shot because you enjoy the flu because everyone avoids you at work. That's definitely an upside. It's a refreshing change to use tissues for something other than watching a Cinemax marathon in the middle of the night. And finally, you might not get a flu shot because you're Chuck Norris and the flu gets a shot to protect against you.
Yes.
I actually don't get a flu shot because the one flu shot I ever got was when a friend of mine had a newborn baby. And I was like, hey, people coming over for the holidays, you're going to meet the baby. Before you come into our house, you're getting a flu shot. And I was like, that's fair. I've never gotten one of these before. Let's see how this works out. Maybe it'll prevent me from getting sick. So I dutifully went and got my flu shot. It is the sickest I've ever been. Like, for 2 weeks after getting the flu shot, I felt like all I could do was crawl into bed and die at the end of the day. I was just so miserably ill and unwell. And I was Googling. I was like, I thought this stuff was supposed to stop me from getting sick. And it did the exact opposite. They're like, occasionally some people might experience an adverse effect or feel ill for a day or two after getting a flu shot. 2 weeks I was on my butt. It sucked. So, no flu shot for me, thank you very much. I have a limited amount of experience with one, and it was all bad. What else?
Taylor Swift is making a hip-hop album.
Oh.
I said, what?
To which prison interrogators at Guantanamo replied, how can I order an advance copy? Go on.
A 55-year-old running back played it down in a Division I college football game.
Oh, yeah. Did you see this?
What does that mean? What is that? What does that
Well,
sports reference mean?
He basically, it means he's a 55-year-old guy that was a running back in the day, and he was allowed to play a little bit in a Division I college football game. The play was almost blown by a sack, because he tripped over his own. Go on.
Dave Chappelle signed a deal with Netflix. Yes.
Yeah. To which the folks over at Comedy Central were like, hold on to your receipts.
I'm
stoked about that.
Those specials?
I don't think it's going to be. Do you think it's going to be another sketch comedy show like the Chappelle Show? Like, the world would respond so favorably if he just brought back, I'm Rick James, bitch. Like, I wonder if Comedy Central owns all that stuff.
I think it'll be like nothing we've ever seen before. I really got to give it to him.
I would imagine so. Like, those Rockstar Taste of Chaos tours, like all those big, like the Mayhem Festival and all that sort of stuff. All those big sort of like metal and rock tours that have been happening in America for the past 10 years or so.
Yeah.
What's very interesting is same guy that puts together this thing called the Oddball Comedy Festival, and that was jump-started in no small part by the fact that he got Dave Chappelle to come back. And this guy is like a super cool guy. I think he used to be Guns N' Roses road manager. Back in the day, he managed bands. I think he was involved with Deftones for a little while and a whole bunch of bands. And he's like very, very smart dude that has mostly existed in the concert promotion world for the last 10, 15 years. Dude called John Reese. And he, after sort of like really doing so much to advance music over the last decade plus in terms of these tours, he got the idea of putting on a comedy festival and really went to town with it. And he was like, oh my gosh, I've been beating the crap out of myself trying to deal with bands with all these, like monster trucks full of production and equipment and all this stuff. All I got to do is get like 5 of these folks on a tour, provide 1 microphone, and that's it. It's an amazing thing, but I think that was launched in no small part due to the fact that he got Dave Chappelle to come out of semi-retirement and do that. So there you go. So all right then, let's talk a little bit about our friend Krauthammer. If you haven't Googled it yet, Google Krauthammer smile. And like I said, if they ever recast The Grinch, if they decide to reboot that movie, there is there's almost no question that he would be better facially suited to play that role than anybody else on the face of the planet. Now, what's interesting, and he pointed this out, that Democrats over the years have been soft on Russians. He said they've been as soft on the Russians as you can come. And then he says all of a sudden they have discovered that the Russians are not our friends. So this is quite a flip-flop. He said, all of us remember Obama mocking Romney for saying that the Russians are a big threat. And now all of a sudden, they're becoming cold warriors. I don't think it looks very good. And you know what? I got to be honest. Neither do I. When I was looking at the election, I was like, okay, Trump gets elected. We're going to war in the Middle East. Some more. Hillary gets elected. We're going to war with Russia. Or we're entering into a Cold War with Russia. Now, look, Trump, on the surface of things, appears to have cozied up to Vladimir Putin. They've had sort of like an exchange of media love letters talking about how they respect one another. And there are no excuses for cozying up to people with questionable human rights records and being friends with them. But we live in a world that isn't made up of absolutes. There is no right, no wrong. There is no left, no right. There's your personal moral compass and you following it and being loyal to yourself and not selling out your own principles. But in a world where we, from a historical perspective, only recently emerged from a collective holding of breath over the fears of Armageddon. Anything that fosters in a friendlier relationship between the people of two countries is something I'm in favor of. See, a country isn't its leader. America's not Donald Trump. The rest of the world's going to see it that way, and we're going to go, oh, man, I wish you wouldn't tar us all with that same brush. America's not Hillary Clinton. America's not Barack Obama. America is you, and it's me. Similarly, Russia is not Vladimir Putin, who, for all intents and purposes, essentially seems to be a James Bond victim that has seized control and power. A man who is, in many ways, a scary individual. Look, you don't get to where he was in the KGB without having seen and done some stuff that would keep all of us awake at night. However, just as Trump is not you and Trump is not me, just as Obama isn't you and me, Putin isn't Russia. And anything that fosters any kind of gateway of understanding and less prejudgment between two sets of people, I got to admit, I see the upside in that. Does that make me unpatriotic? I don't think it does. Thank you for hanging out.